Are you a fan of Pokemon and Super Mario World? Well, if you are, I've got a real treat for you. This ROM hack by Downnair98 not only takes what makes Super Mario World so great and coats it with an amazing Pokemon aesthetic, but it also adds in a ton of fan service for fans of many other retro games as well. Super Pika Land Ultra, Chocolate version, is a pseudo-sequel to another ROM hack by the same person subtitled Vanilla. Unlike Vanilla, however, this version uses custom blocks, sprites, music, level backgrounds, and a few other things as well. So the story in this one basically goes like this. A young Pikachu gets lost on an uncharted island and must find his way off of it. You do so by activating switch blocks to progress. So, simple enough. The physics of the game are Mario-esque to a T. Nothing has changed in this regard. It would seem the coding here was left alone. This makes the game feel so good. You know, I often feel like a platform game suffers a bit when the jumping doesn't feel similar to Mario's sense of gravity. Mario's platforming just feels so free, the way you can change direction mid-jump, you know? Especially compared to games like Ghosts 'n Goblins or Castlevania where Arthur or Simon is locked into a jump once executed. The overworld map is pretty neat. It's basically the same conceptually as Super Mario World. You've got castles and switch blocks, both of which allow you to save your progress once completed, and of course red level markers which remain signals that the level contains 2 exits rather than 1. And the overworld map music is a burst of nostalgia, as is most of the music in this hack. As I mentioned in the introduction, this game has fan service to all retro gamers. A lot of that is the music. There's a remix of Level 1 Castlevania while you're in the castle stages, which just blew me away when I first entered my first castle. And there's a few other remixes of great tunes from other titles as well. And the fan service doesn't end there. One of the boss fights early on is against Kirby wearing a Pikachu cap, which is pretty damn great if you ask me. The enemies are all replaced with custom Pokemon sprites. You can tell that the swaps were well thought out too. You've got obvious ones such as Tentacools replacing Bloopers or Squirtles replacing Koopas, but there's so many more. Volcano Lotus Flowers are replaced with Glooms that spew poison, Piranha Plants are replaced with Victory Bells, and Dino Torches are replaced with Bulbasaurs. There are just so many here. My favorite is definitely Blarg the T-Rex Lava Monster being replaced with Muck. There's even cute touches that really make you smile, like this sign that Muck, or not Muck I should say, posted to lure players into his toxic sludge. And you don't just see Super Mario World enemy behavior patterns either. The Krabbies that litter the Oceanside levels are programmed to behave like the crabs from the original Mario Bros. Arcade game. And there's even a boss fight with Kingler that resembles boss fights from Super Mario Bros. 2, where you have to catch and lift rocks and lob them back at the boss. If you've played Super Mario Bros. 2, you should know what I mean just by looking at this. Keeping true to Pokemon, this game even considers weakness and resistance. Or at least resistance, as you'll notice that enemies that have ground-type Pokemon sprites are immune to Raichu's electrical shots, and that alone made me sit back and just think like, wow, this is not your average janky ROM hack. This was done by someone who knows what they're doing. So many things were considered and addressed. And even the level design is really done at a professional level. The levels are admittedly a tad harder than regular Mario games, but nothing ridiculous. You know how there's those ROM hacks where you can tell that someone has just put many hours into the original and just wanted to make an advanced challenge? Well, this definitely isn't one of those hacks. If we had no prior knowledge of Super Mario World, this would legitimately feel like an official release. And even with prior knowledge, you know, unlike most hacks that just do palette swaps or other minor changes, this game takes the source code and does things with it that wasn't even utilized in the original game. Like in this stage here, where you have water that rises and lowers, as well as changes the speed of the current. Or like this minecart riding level, which again, if you listen, there's some more of that fan service music. What is that, Mystic Cave Zone from Sonic 2? I love it. This is just a great ROM hack. There's no two ways about it. I honestly want to get a physical copy of this, and I just might. And if you want to know where to get this patch, I'll leave a link in the description. Now, I tried to leave out any late game stuff and only put gameplay from the first few worlds as to not spoil anything, but this game has about 60 levels, and they're all custom and just a joy to explore. And I really want to give a shout out to Downnair98 for giving us this amazing experience. These post-production ROM editors deserve credit, as most people out there just tend to download these ROM packages without ever knowing who did the reprogramming work, but these guys truly do deserve recognition. In conclusion, this is just an amazing experience overall. If you love old school Super Mario and Pokemon as well, this may be one of the best games you'll ever play. I guarantee it.